All right. So, a little bit of a different vein today. Doing it as a live stream, I doubt it will change much of the formatting of everything, but it never serves to hurt anybody that wants to just follow along. With that being said, this is another episode of the Playoff Picture. As always, it's your host, Wraith Hoops. Beside me, I got that boy Darion. And this is episode 6. So today, well, today's Thursday, right?
It's technically Thursday.
Okay, so yeah, within the next 24 hours, we will be seeing the first game of the NBA Finals kick off between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're going to talk a little bit about those predictions, just how each team has been tested so far leading into this, and I'm sure you have a little bit of gloating to do on your part for Mr. Dončić.
A little bit, a little glaze, a little glaze.
Go ahead and take it away, bro.
Little glaze. All right, let me go ahead and say this, man. For all you people that didn't know, Luka is him. He's him. He is a top 3 player in the league. He's one of the greatest to ever touch the basketball. All right. Let me stop right there. Let me stop. I'm gonna stop. Nah, but all credit to Luka Dončić. Not only he's been, he's been hurt most of these playoff series, and I wouldn't even want to say he's played his best. He's played his best when he got to Minnesota, where you can see he doesn't look as hobbled. But Luka's always been capable of this. He's always shown it. He's always shown this next level of IQ, clutchness, and just being able to take your heart and put it on the ground and start stomping on it, and then feed it back to you. So this is no surprise to me about what Luka's doing. And it's also one of the reasons why I had Dallas winning the whole thing. I felt like Luka, you can argue, is one of the best players in the NBA. If he is top 3, no discussion, no debate, I believe. And if you put a supporting cast around him that can play defense with another creator who really offsets Luka, hey, the sky's the limit for him, man. And they can go anywhere. And now you got guys like PJ Washington and Derrick Jones, and you got Kyrie off of a steal for only 1 first-round pick. I mean, hey, that's why I had it. I had him. I believed in him. I believed that Kyrie was going to go out there, do Kyrie things, and I believe Luka was going to be Luka at the end of the day. And I know a lot of teams just they don't got a Luka. The only closest team was Denver. Hey, they got sat down. They got sat down by Ant-Man, who,
Well, you air quote Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, because he was an ant compared to a Luka.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Clear.
The difference maker was the playmaking, right? Because they forced him to be a playmaker, and he's not an elite playmaker. He's not close enough. He was able to eventually, after game 1, he was making the proper reads, but he also lacked the prowess necessary to actually get the ball to said read. And so that left him to still be turnover prone. Obviously, they were closing down the paint, so he couldn't set up shop in there like he would prefer to. Even though he did shoot decently from 3, it just ultimately wasn't enough. And then you had a ridiculous number of games where Karl-Anthony Towns was shooting underneath 30% from the field. Absolutely abhorrent, and averaging 19 points while shooting underneath 30% from the field is absolutely atrocious. Now, I don't want to cook him too hard though. Here's why. And somebody really had to walk me through this, because I'm not a Karl-Anthony Towns fan by any stretch of the imagination. The thing is, though, Cat overplayed what I expected him to do this year. Like in the playoffs, for the most part, with the exception of this series, 4 out of the 5 games, he was pretty freaking reliable. We asked him to guard Jokic. We asked him to really play great against Chet and in different situations, especially when you found different situations where
you say Chet.
Not Chet. Oh my goodness, why did I say Chet?
KD.
Thank you. Kevin Durant. I'm looking at them. They have the same type of game, and that's what it is. I saw the Oklahoma City Thunder jersey.
KD.
And was he flawless on defense? Of course not. But he was definitely a lot better than a lot of people imagined him to be. And his ability to stay on the floor and prevent himself from being foul prone was what either allowed them to win those games or would have made them lose. And honestly, he was part of the reason why they were able to make it that far. But also, we can't sit there and expect him to be a cornerstone, because we've seen in years past how he just isn't that guy. He's not the number 1 guy on any particular team. Even back when you look back as far as when Jimmy Butler went there, right? Jimmy Butler thought he had all the skills to do the job the way that needed to be done, and he's just not that guy.
He had that dog in him.
And yeah, they have to accept that, Overall, though, because of his previous performances leading up to this past series, I really liked what I saw out of him. I have nothing but respect for it. I absolutely hated games 1 through 3 from him. It was terrible. Defensively, he wasn't great. Offensively, he was terrible. He was abhorrent. So even when he had positives on defense, it just didn't matter because he just got swept out right out the door. But I got to give him as much hate as I would love to give him. I also have to give him his fair share of praise because it was not all bad from him.
Yeah. And I do agree to some points where Cat definitely showed that he could be a bit more reliable throughout the playoffs. He actually did play pretty well. Again, it's just at the biggest moments, he kind of shrank. And he also, again, one of the other big issues about him is, again, he just had issues with foul trouble. Continuing to be one of his biggest downfalls is him just ticky-tack fouls, little fouls. It's just like, why did you do that? Like, come on, bro. Like, come on, don't put your hand in that cookie jar. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
And it's just like he definitely needs to be working on just being more sound, just being more disciplined. But yeah, I don't think he had a bad play. I don't think he had a bad playoff series. I think he just had a bad series, not a bad playoffs in general. I think he had a bad series. But yeah, I'm not gonna crook him too much, because he shot terrible. Like, he shot absolutely horrible. And I watch a guy on B-Ball. It's called B-Ball Breakdowns, another channel. Shout out to them. And as a player, Karl-Anthony Towns is nothing but a shooter, a big shooter, like legitimately a big shooter. He lacks a post game. Yeah, he has the athleticism to be you can say like a good finisher at the rim, but he's not. And again, it's just because he usually shying away from contact, or he's just again, it's just his touch is just a little off, which is crazy for someone who can shoot the ball as well as him to not have the greatest touch around the rim. But hey, yeah, so there's just some things about Cat's game. There's just like, do you really, is him being the second best option on offense gonna take you to the promised land? Is that really going to be enough for next year?
And the answer is no.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's been a definite guarantee that it's not. Not so much to say that you can't rely on him at all, but he definitely played true to himself in certain ways. When it came down to it, we were all reminded, right? The same thing we're reminded of every year, that Cat just isn't that guy. You can rely on him to a certain extent, but you shouldn't put all your eggs in his basket, because the basket will fall.
Yeah.
The question then becomes, okay, do you expect Ant to take another step forward? Because honestly, you could argue that if Ant has even 60% of the playmaking sense that Luka has coming into the series, that's a 7-game series. And I'm willing to buy that, because you saw in the first 4 games of the series, they were winning in the last 4 minutes of the game. And then in game 3, I believe, was the one where around like 3:52 was where they lost the lead. But after that, it was like inside of 2 minutes for the rest of the games. And then game 4, obviously, they won. Game 5 was the only one that was really just out of reach. Like, from out the gate, they just got popped. They got knocked in the jaw, and they just could not recover, which definitely wasn't great. But, Cat showed us who he was. He reminded us. And we were spoiled. I'll say that. We were spoiled at what he showed us previously. Now, another thing, Rudy Gobert does not deserve as much flack as he's receiving, because nothing that Rudy Gobert was before has changed. He is the same guy.
And that's why he deserves flack, because he is the same guy.
But the thing is, we knew this, though.
We knew this.
Everybody sat there and watched him come into the playoff season and saw him getting exposed in pick and roll coverage. It was like, oh my God, he can't play defense in pick and rolls. He hasn't been able to.
That's the problem. He has not gotten better. How do you not get better? And you keep winning DPO wise.
But this is the thing, though. There's positives and negatives to everybody's game.
Oh my God.
What's good, Dallin? That's the the positive and negatives of everybody's game. There's some guys that are really great shooters, but they just can't create off the dribble. That doesn't mean necessarily you're going to have to live with the fact that they'll never be able to dribble. They'll never be able to win off of if you can run them off the line, because that's not their game. Now you can give them some sort of bag, but at the end of the day, it's not going to put them into a position where they feel ultimately comfortable. And that's the issue with him, because you expect him to be an elite rim protector.
He wasn't that this series.
Well, the thing was, they didn't allow him to sit at the rim. And this is part of the reason why I don't necessarily love Chris Finch's defensive philosophy this particular series. There was too many situations where he was allowed to stick with the man that was going and setting the screen. You can't allow that if you're Chris Finch, because you know he can't win out there.
Yeah.
We watched the game. You had the game in the bag. Remember that one? And then that they put him on that island.
Yeah, he got that work.
And he got fried. They were up 2. They were up 2.
Up 2. He had a 3.
They were up 2, and they conceded the 3. If you're Rudy Gobert in this situation, you have to force him downhill, put him into conflict right there. Even if it's a lob to Lively was the big that originally set the screen. So even if you put him in a conflict with Lively, okay, that's a situation. We'll trust myself, the DPOY, at the rim. That's my domain, right?
Yeah,
that's where I'm supposed to be my best. And then Jaden McDaniels, one of the greatest perimeter defenders we have in the game right now. I trust us if I can run him off the line. Worst case scenario, overtime. Worst case scenario.
See, that's another thing going against Rudy. And again, back to your last point about you taking a guy that's just a shooter, and okay, yeah, he's not gonna be able to go off the dribble, but we know he's just a shooter, but we're not giving him awards for just being a shooter. We know what he is, but we have Rudy Gobert, who, again, guys know who he is. We know he sells in the playoffs.
No. He doesn't sell. He gets exposed.
You're right. He gets exposed.
Yes.
You're right. He gets exposed.
Yes.
He gets exposed. Your DPOY, he still wins DPO. He's a 4-time DPOY. You can't name a 4-time DPO. You can't name a 3-time DPOY that's gotten exposed at the level of Rudy Gobert. Even like Draymond, like say Draymond Green, for instance.
Whoa. Okay. If I'm gonna ask you this then.
Yes.
If we put Draymond Green in the same situations that Rudy Gobert was put in this series.
Prime Draymond, because we're talking about
yes.
I'm gonna be real. Minnesota wins the series.
No.
Yes.
Draymond is not a rim protector.
Rudy wasn't in this series either.
Well, because he wasn't at the rim. That's the difference.
I mean,
when he was at the rim, he was fine.
They were averaging 52 points in the paint against him
because he was allowed to be drawn away. They weren't putting him in the
because they had him in drop coverage. And he couldn't play and drop.
It wasn't going to work
because he couldn't play and drop.
Because pick and rolls at all is just bad for him.
Yep, he could.
It's worse. It's honestly as
that was
like Al Horford. You don't want Al Horford in a pick and roll situation,
right?
But we're gonna get to that.
But here's the thing, though: the biggest difference is Al Horford isn't your. I'm gonna keep going. Always go back to it. DPOY. That word. If Rudy wasn't the defensive player of the year, a 4-time defensive player of the year, and he consistently gets exposed, it wouldn't be as bad. Because it's like, okay, yeah, you're just the center that we get it. You can't play defense that well. But it's the fact that he has DPOY, a 4-time DPOY next to his name, that's always going to be like, why are you getting exposed? Regardless if we know that you're not not good in pick and roll or anything.
Where it comes down to context. Casuals will always look at it and say, he's a 4-time DPOY and he was getting beat in the playoffs, right? They're always going to look at it that way. Yep. And they'll be fine with that, right? I'm fine with casuals not recognizing the game like that. But if you're a student of the game or you understand context, you're going to be like, dang, it's kind of like if a great shooter has a bad shooting series, the nigga didn't just forget how to shoot a ball, right?
Well,
if you're an elite shooter, if Stephen Curry has a series where he plays 5, 6, 7 games and he shoots like 30-something% from the field, we don't sit there and say, oh, he forgot how to shoot. No. We don't say he sold. We look back at the tape and say, what forced him to do that? He's too good at that.
So. We definitely say so. Because like guys,
not one game.
Because at least
5, 6 games,
6 games of missing bad. Yeah, we're gonna be like
6 games. He shoot. No.
We're gonna be like Burger selling. No, like, come on, what's going on, Curry? Because you're an elite shooter. It's what we expect of you. The expectation is if you're an elite shooter, we're expecting you to knock down your shots.
Correct.
Regardless of the situation that you're going into.
But the thing is, you also have to take into account the context, though. You can't sit there and just say, oh, he shot bad this series. He must have been terrible this series. It could have been a situation where whether it be the coverages, the way they played the player, or the defender that was on him made the difference.
And that's where
that happens.
But when you're elite, you have to figure that's what makes guys elite. That's what we make the separator. That makes you why you have to overcome that again. And if you don't shoot, like, of course, we're not gonna say like if you're a 40% shooter from three and defenses were good, but you overcome it, you shoot 36, 35. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But if your guys like elite shooters like Joe Harris, who was getting wide open opportunities in the playoffs consistently, and you talk about who forgot how to shoot the ball,
that's different. Of course. That's
oh my gosh,
that's what I'm saying. But we're talking, that's why my example was like a Steph Curry or a Damian Lillard. But because you find yourself in a situation where having one bad shooting night, I'm like, hey, he wasn't on his work. He wasn't standing on business tonight. 2 nights, it's kind of like, okay, what's going on? If Stephen Curry, the greatest shooter we've ever seen, shoots like 38% from the field and 32% from three on like 8-9 attempts a game over a 6-game sample size,
he was getting.
I need to see the game.
I definitely feel like because
I can't fathom, like, he's had bad shooting, games in the regular season. It happens. Right. Everybody has a shooting slump, but in a series, I've never seen somebody be great at a certain facet of the game and just be completely unable to do it, like completely negated.
And
you play them always to their weaknesses.
You're right. And then again with Rudy,
they played him to his weakness.
But that's the problem.
It would have been different. The thing I would say is, it would make sense. Like, people would be giving him due glazing if he was under the rim the entire time and they put 60 points per game in the paint on him. Then it would be like, dang, Rudy, what's going on? Because it's like, this is your bread and butter, and they gave you the work.
But he did catch like 40. He caught about 40. No, it was about 30 or 40 between Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, and they were all straight lobs on his back.
Across the series, yeah.
Oh no, there was one game. No. There was one game where Derek Lively
only had 60 field goals the entire series.
They combined for like 30 points. They combined for like 30 points in the game. It was Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford. I believe it was game 2.
I'm not buying.
It was game. It was, bro. I swear to God.
That's
I swear to you, bro.
That's crazy.
I believe it was game 2. But like I said, they averaged 52 points per they were averaging 52 points per game in the paint,
which is bad.
Them,
and
which
that's
is
why I say
horrible.
A scheme from a schematic thing. Yeah. If you're the coach of Rudy Gobert, that's my DPOY. I know for a fact Rudy has been the same guy since he came into the league. We know what he can do and what he cannot do. He has never been a great free throw shooter. So I do not want him getting fouled. I don't want to put him in a situation where the game's on the line and he gets fouled. Yeah. I would sooner take him off the floor before that happens, right? I'm not letting that happen. So in that same vein, if I know he can't defend pick and rolls, I'm doing everything humanly possible to keep him out of that action. Because I know, at least if that's a situation where 7 times out of 10 I lose, I can't take that risk. This is the playoffs, baby. This isn't a regular season game. This isn't I'm going to test some stuff out, see what works. No, that was the regular season. That was the series leading up to this. This is where it really counts. We're down, backs against the wall. Clutch time, we cannot allow these actions to be played. Yeah. And then when you see it continually occur across the entire 5-game sample size, and not once does it seem like they're initiating a switch action so he could stick on the short corner, even though, to be quite honest, Derrick Jones Jr. and PJ Washington were spraying from deep.
They were.
From opposite corners. They were both shooting like 46 and 44 or 45% from the other corner. Respectfully, that's a bucket, right? Yeah. But that's a situation where I'm going to say that's the best case scenario, because outside of that, Luka was torching everything. They blitzed him. He adjusted, right? They switched. He adjusted. They dropped low. He adjusted.
He couldn't do anything.
No great coverage. Like, after game 1, there was no elite coverage that you could run on him where it was going to work, because he was burning every one of them.
There was.
So in that situation, you can't.
It's just kind of like, and it's just like going back to just with Rudy. I do want to give him credit. They were better defensively with him on the court.
Yeah, of course.
I will. Yeah. That is just that is real. Like, they had a better.
Now, if he was on the court and they were worse, then I could not defend.
Yeah, you can't defend him. But it's just, at the same time, though, it's just like, you are the exploit. And that's the problem, because a lot of times when he was in drop coverages, I didn't think it was really from a physical standpoint sometimes where he couldn't guard it. I think it was just IQ at that point a lot of times.
Yeah.
And
that's what most of pick and roll coverages are, if we're going to be honest.
It is a lot of IQ in it. And that's just a kind of another thing, again, that I would get on Rudy is, bro, like, how do you come on? Like, you should be at least you should be better at this point, at least defending in drop coverage against these guys right here. Like, it should be a little bit better, not compared to, like, I'm not saying you're going to be the super ultra stopper or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I felt like his impact wasn't DPOY impact. I didn't feel that personally throughout. And I felt that throughout the last 2 series. I felt like he had a DPOY impact when he played the Suns in the first round. And after that, it kind of just slowly kind of just withered away. And then the main. I mean, I guess the main point of attack was attack Rudy in this series, and it worked.
Yeah,
It worked and it worked again.
And-
That's the
and
problem. It
I-
worked again. It's not
Now-
the first
now-
time.
now,
This isn't the second time.
the issue
It's
though
like the
was
5th time it's worked.
the reason why it's difficult for him to adjust is not only is he not the highest IQ big,
Oh,
right,
yeah, shit.
defensively. While he does do pretty decent, he's had stretches of games like across time where he's been good in drop coverage, where he's been good in pick and roll
He
situations.
wasn't against
But it
in
also
the
depends
Phoenix,
on
he was.
who, the ball handler.
Yeah.
We're looking at somebody who's one of his favorite players of all time is LeBron James, a kid that grew up watching LeBron. So playmaking is in his genes.
Yeah.
Understanding the game is in his genes. Being a film rat is in his genes. So you're facing off against probably one of the most cerebral players in the game today, top 10. I might gamble and say top 5. I gotta
You
put a
talking about
list together.
Luka?
Yes.
Top 3. Come on, let's not do that.
Top three?
Top 3. He's top 3. He's top 3.
Would you say he's above Curry?
Yes, right now, yeah, he's better than Curry. Right now, yeah, he's better than Curry.
I don't know if I could do that.
He's better than Curry
I
right
don't
now.
know if I could do that.
I love Curry. I mean, like for nostalgia aspect, yeah, you want to say Curry, but nah, like
I'm talking
this
about IQ though.
this
I'm not
IQ.
talking about- I'm not talking about skill, like
just
as a
IQ?
player. I'm talking about, like, IQ. That's what I'm talking about.
It's IQ.
Like I'm saying, like he's definitely top
Luka,
10 to me.
Luka's, yeah,
He might
top
break
10.
7. I don't, because I don't want to
Top
sit there and say that and be
He's
like,
up there.
oh, you're forgetting about da. And I'm like, oh, snap.
He is definitely one of the
Because,
highest IQ players.
Yeah.
So
Especially
I
from an
agree with that.
offensive skill.
I thought you were
specifically.
talking about just being better right now. It's
Oh
Luka.
no,
It's Luka.
obviously Luka's better.
Luka, right?
Yeah, we're seeing that. But I would say like when you're facing off against that, and then he also has a play style of a player that you literally have the most trouble with. It gets wicked because you're not facing Kyrie with playmaking sense.
Yeah.
You're facing somebody who's
And Kyrie's
6'6",
gotten him up,
6'7",
too.
who as soon as you branch out, he can still fit the pass. He can still throw it over top. He can still see around the screen and navigate as much as he wants to. And he's girthy enough to put a little bit of body into you and make the play that he wants. And because he's a good film study and he understands coverages extremely well to a savant level, it makes all the difference. And so I think that also kind of really put a spotlight. There was already a light on him, but it like spotlight him because like, hey, not only can you not guard somebody, you can't guard Luka. And it's like that was tough.
Hey man, Luka don't like Rudy.
No, I
don't like
it's,
Rudy.
it's very
bro.
apparent. I don't know what happened.
He
I don't
did
know what
not.
happened,
He
but
does
it-
not
yeah.
like Rudy. But a lot of players don't like Rudy though.
Yeah.
And that's again back to that 4-time DPOY stuff. They don't believe he's a good defender. And I mean, honestly,
I don't want to be the guy that says he makes his team better.
in the
But,
regular
like,
in the
that's-
regular season, he's a good.
Yeah.
In the regular
Yeah,
season,
by
yeah, he's
default.
awesome. He can lead a number 1 defense.
Yeah.
But when it's time for making schemes and adjustments,
He does, and that's why I think the biggest difference between him and why he'll never get another DPOY is because Wemby exists now, and Wemby has between Wemby and like a player like Lively, they have the nimbleness of somebody that's like 6'7".
Yeah.
But they also think the game a little bit better. They have better hip movement. Now Wemby's hips are a lot better than Lively's. I've realized because Lively side to side he's fine, but when you need to flip his hips, he gets a little bit wicked. I think that his DPOYs for one are done. If for no other reason
done.
because
They're
the
done.
media just sat there and inflamed him this entire time, and I think it was unjust. But even aside from that, to me, Wemby is he's everything that Rudy is, and then some. Right? He's taller. He's longer. He knows how to position his body better. He looks smarter. That's a crazy thing to say. Somebody looks smarter. He looks smarter when he plays.
Oh, yeah.
Right? In 28 minutes, playing the way that he played and having that impact, and people act like he didn't deserve it because his team lost. The reason why they lost, he was like a +7 when he was on the court across all of his lineups averaged together. When he was off the court, they were like a -14.6.
Yeah.
That's a 22-point swing.
With no real point
obviously, if I play less than half the game and we're winning when I'm on the court, and then I'm taking off and
only play 28,
slightly
29 minutes. Yeah.
Slightly over half the game, I'm not on the court. Of course you're gonna win.
Of course.
My guys can't guard you. Only I
Yeah,
can.
exactly. We're doing the tank anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, poor Rudy. You know, you ran into that Luka and Kyrie, man. Sorry about that. You ran into that.
Best guard duo backcourt right now.
Best guard duo backcourt, man. And it just want to give more shout out to Dallas Mavericks for just going out and making moves to just surround Luka with talent. You know,
it was getting wicked for a minute.
It was looking like
they couldn't create anything.
It was looking like it was about to be like Luka was about to be with Brunson on the Knicks or something like that. He was about to be somewhere else. But yeah, man, I feel like Dallas is in a perfect place right now. I feel like the vibes there are really good. I feel like going into this series against Boston, I feel like it's going to be. I personally feel like that they're going to show Boston kind of the levels that Boston hasn't seen these playoffs. They're going to be able to see a team that not only knows how to get it done in crunch time, but also have a guy that can really solidify and show like, hey, I am the best player out here on this court.
Who is that to you?
Oh, it's Luka.
It's
Luka.
It's Luka. I misheard your first sentence, and I'm thinking of the Celtics in my head. I was like,
no.
There's no guaranteed closer over there.
No, there isn't. And like
the greatest meme I've seen come out of this entire playoffs was the one I was talking to you about the other day, where it's like the sunshine and rainbows on Jayson Tatum's walk to the finals, and then you see Luka sitting there fighting, blood guts all over the floor, literally battling through each round, actually playing dogs, great defenses.
Beat 350 win teams.
Literally.
350
and even if you don't if you take the wins out of it and we just look at teams pound for pound, the pieces that they had on the floor, the schemes that were ran, he had to fight for it. Kyrie had to fight for it. Lively had to show he was worthy of the moment. Gafford had to play well, right? PJ Washington had to step up. Everybody even believe in PJ Washington.
No.
He stepped up. Right? Derrick Jones Jr. stepped up. Tim Hardaway Jr. recognized when he was good. And there's somebody off the bench I'm forgetting right now.
You're forgetting my boy Jaden Hardy. He came in game. He came in game 4, game 5.
Everybody recognized where their role was. Everybody bought into the role perfectly. So I love that for them. I don't see that with Boston. Boston, who they faced first round?
First round, it was the injured Miami Heat.
Right. So no Jimmy Butler, right? The engine of their offense, non-existent. All right, cool. Easy. Right. Second round was
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yep. D-Mitch went down, Jared Allen went down, and who else were they missing?
Darius
Garland was in.
No, he played.
He was struggling.
He was struggling.
Yeah. He was hampered after playing 7 games against the Magic with Jalen Suggs
running around,
strapping him up all down the court. And he also had an injury though.
Before I remember he broke his jaw earlier in the year.
I don't know how much that affected him at that point.
I heard breaking your jaw is crazy though.
Yeah.
You can't.
I'm also wondering like how wired shut, like where was the break? Which side was it? Both sides? Like, because I didn't actually recognize
that changes everything. That changes your diet, like your weight, like so. I give Darius
from a conditioning standpoint that also affects you.
Yeah, so I give him a pass. Yeah, you get a pass.
Then you continue on to the third round.
And he played in Indiana. Who?
Yep.
Let's be honest with Indiana. They were up game 1, game 2.
Yes.
No, game 1. It was game 1, game 2, and game 4. Yes, because there was like one game that they had a 90% chance of winning in the final. I know it was the final like 2 minutes or something, right? And they blew it.
Yeah.
I don't Luka and Dallas aren't doing that.
Yeah.
They're not doing that.
Because the only team that might be better at fourth quarter production, just second half production in general, would have to be the one and only ousted, Joker. In Denver.
Right.
So
they gone.
Here we are with Luka, and he has Kyrie as his number 2. He doesn't have Jamal Murray.
No.
He doesn't have Jamal Murray's cool. He's a playoff riser, in the regular season. He's just another dude. He's cool, but he's not like people don't sit there and see Jamal Murray. You know what I'm saying? People see Kyrie. They make us get to shivering. They say, ooh.
You know what Drew said? He said, hey, what we gonna do to stop Kyrie? Pray. We pray.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I could glaze Kyrie all day, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to stick to the Celtics. A big thing to move on. Well, let me get to these comments real quick. I didn't mean to skip y'all. Some about Millionaire. He said, Cat proclaimed himself to be the best 3-point shooting big man, shot around 21% in the Western Conference Finals. Indeed.
Yeah. That's how.
Yeah, it was hideous. He said, "Oh, Dallin, I got a different video for you for that one." Let's see. What's good, Jackson? He said, and then Slumdog said Minnesota was better defensively by a decent margin with Gobert on the floor versus off the court. Yep.
That was true.
Let's see. Jackson said Celtics got the 18th championship banner. You think so, Jackson?
Nah, Jackson.
I can't buy it.
No, Jackson.
I'm gonna explain to you why. He said Al Horford is not that washed. No, Al Horford's not terrible. Drop coverage is probably his best situation. You don't want him in a situation where he has to hedge.
Well, I also don't even want him on switches either.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I don't
but if you catch Al Horford in a pick and roll, your best situation is to have him in drop coverage. Yes. The issue is he doesn't want to play drop against Kyrie specifically, right? Luka has a floater, but Kyrie's known for the floater.
He's going to struggle.
Gobert, he was frying him with the floater.
He was. He's gonna struggle and switches with them. This series just because of the two lob threats with Derek Lively and Derek.
Yeah,
Gafford.
and he's not a
and
rim protector.
he's not a vertical leaper. So
you couldn't argue he's been one for years.
Yeah,
if you wanted to argue he was one ever, maybe his Atlanta days, his first stint with Boston, maybe.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, if you just being honest, Luka and Al Horford are probably about the same height.
Oh, chill.
Yeah, I mean, him and Cat were the same height. So, and I mean, Al Horford's what, 6'9", 6'9", 6'10". Yeah, you know, Luka.
I got a lot of respect for Al Horford. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I do too. I got a lot of respect for him, but I think his old ass is about to get cooked.
It's gonna get ugly.
He's gonna get ugly,
and that's
for him.
why Porzingis' health is going to be a big swinger.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Now I love the fact that he's been able to, get healthy and just sit back there and watch his guys just absolutely knock out everybody they played.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's not 85%, they're in trouble. Because if you put Al Horford on the court and expect him to hold things down for over half the game, it's gonna get ugly very quickly. Because he doesn't have the youth, he doesn't have the bounce, he has the length and the intelligence. He deserves a lot of credit because for him to he's 38 now, playing the 5.
Yeah.
In today's league, as fast paced as everything is,
mm-hmm.
and his corner shooting, the reason why they're able to run a 5-out offense, even with him on the floor instead of Porzingis, is because from the corner, I believe he shoots something crazy. He shoots like 46% from one of the corners.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it's the right corner, if memory serves me right. But being able to have that ability to space out the floor like that, that's their bread and butter. But I have something spicy for that.
But and that's another thing with Boston, man. If they're not hitting shots, if they're not hitting
fried.
threes,
they're cooked.
They're gonna be fried. And it's just and then another matchup just looking forward to is if Drew Holiday goes cold, be prepared to see one of the centers switch on to him, and then you'll probably put like PJ on like Kristaps or something like that. So don't be surprised if that gets ran. If Drew Holiday just has like one of those shooting nights where he just can't hit the broadside of a barn. So that could be just one of those adjustments that gets played into it.
100%.
But I also feel like Boston, even as good as Porzingis is, I feel like Dallas is going to get as many points. I feel like they're going to get, if not more points in the paint than they had against Minnesota. I think they're just going to get just as many. Again, just because I mean, Porzingis has been a good to great defender this year, but I don't see him, especially coming off a calf injury, being really good as an elite rim protector, and especially when they go, because they're gonna try to hunt. They're gonna go and hunt Al Horford. They're gonna hunt Porzingis.
Yeah.
They're gonna hunt Derek White. As good as a defender Derek White is, Luka's gonna hunt him.
Yeah. He's
gonna hunt. That's another reason why I feel that Boston's going to lose this series is ultimately down the line. As many bodies as Boston has, they really don't have no one that can really, really slow Luka down. Like, I don't think they compared to such teams as like OKC. Lou Dort could slow him down. He could physically slow him down. Jaylen Brown is like probably the closest, the best option. But I don't know how much Jaylen Brown is going to buy into that. Like, it's going to buy into completely trying to stop Luka. I think
as much as I'm a little bit of a Jaylen Brown hater.
I love Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
I ain't.
But I got to give him the benefit of the doubt in this one. Is he going to lock up Luka? Absolutely not.
No.
But he is going to be the best. He's going to be the swing player that will either be able to buy them a game or be the reason they are unable to get a game. Yeah. Because in a situation where it's Luka, any pick and roll situation, if you can, side note, Jayson Tatum's terrible in pick and rolls, I realized. I was looking back at the film. He's not good at pick and roll coverages. I just had to get that out there. For me, the health of Porzingis is going to make a really big, it's going to be a really important thing because if he's there, you're going to be able to shoot from the top of the key, which means you can really draw guys out. Because if you're the big, if you're Lively or Gaffer, yes, they are athletic, yes, they are nimble. But if you have to step all the way out there, where you get put in a pick and roll situation and Porzingis pops, and you have Kyrie closing out, love Kyrie. His defense this playoff has been the best of his career. Argue bar none. He's been averaging like 3.7 deflections in the last series. steals off the charts.
The
way he's been playing, he's hustling, he's moving different. He's using his IQ. He's trying to put himself into winning situations.
He's been holding stars, I believe, under like 40%.
He's doing great,
shooting from
right? And of course, he has situations where like he's not big enough or tall enough to affect guys when he gets caught into coverages where he has to slide down in his zone to cover at the rim. He's not going to be able to do that. We recognize that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, this is the best Kyrie defensively we've ever seen.
Right.
And his numbers don't necessarily pop off the page, right? He's averaging, I want to say it's like 20, it's 22, 4 and 3 or something like that.
Yeah, that's not crazy.
It's not insane. But if you watch it, it is extremely impactful. There's been a lot of guys, people used to glaze Andre Drummond because a dude could give you 20 and 20. They'd be like, this is the most unimpactful 20 and 20 I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It ain't mean nothing. Y'all lost by 30. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, but still, and it's a thing of Porzingis can swing things. Al Horford can be helpful, but he's going to be more exploitable than Porzingis. Depending on how healthy Porzingis is on defense, they're going to make that boy move.
They are.
So if that calf is not 100%, if that calf is not 80%,
that calf is
he about to be playing 10 minutes a game.
Yeah, that calf is really.
Because you think Luka gonna show him mercy?
Yeah,
absolutely not.
And then,
absolutely not. You think Kyrie gonna show him mercy? Kyrie was last time he was in the Nets uniform and they were sitting there clowning him about what he did. He wiped his shoes right there on that logo and he went to walking. And guess what? He's back.
Also, another thing is Boston's bench. I don't think Peyton Pritchard is really gonna be that much playable. I'm gonna be.
He was touched the court because Luka's athleticism is
I would never
not the same
put
as his. Now this is what I'm saying though, right? They don't have a uber athletic guard out of Kyrie and Luka. They're both crafty. Kyrie's obviously more athletic and more dangerous, but Pritchard isn't going to be. Yeah, the thing is, you're gonna have to put somebody out there. So Pritchard is by default
he's gonna
be
play.
That guy.
No, he's gonna play.
He's not. He's definitely gonna be on. Oh, you say he's gonna receive reduced minutes.
Oh, I mean, personally, he's gonna get picked on like very badly because because if again,
that's why their zone coverage is gonna be what's gonna make the difference.
Yeah, and I can see that. I can see that, but it just in previous series, he had guys he had to guard. He had to guard like T.J. McConnell or like Darius Garland or guys who are kind of similar in size. And they're not as tough as covers compared to like Luka and Kyrie. Luka, that's easy. We're gonna take him down to the post. Kyrie, we're gonna take him down to the post as well, or we can take him out on the perimeter and we can dance on. I mean, Kyrie's Kyrie, so it doesn't really matter who guards him. But I feel like Peyton Pritchard, I don't think he's that great offensively. I think he's solid. I think he's okay. He's solid, but I don't feel like he's best suited in a series like this. I feel like that they need to use more. They need more wing depth. But their bench, I mean, it's not very deep. It's Sam Hauser. Al Horford when he does it because he's gonna start. I mean, he's gonna come off the bench if Kristaps is healthy. Sam Hauser, Al Horford, and then Luke Kornet. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm really kind of trusting Dallas's bench a little bit more. Yeah, I'm having a little bit more trust in guys like Josh Green isn't the great. He's not like no crazy good shooter, crazy elite shooter, but he's gonna play hard. He has size, so he can guard. He can either guard Tatum or he can guard Brown. He can guard one of the guards or Derek White.
He's gonna see an increase in minutes.
He might.
He lost minutes last series because of the way they were playing. In the matches that were on the court.
I don't think Tim Hardaway really that good, bro. I'm I've been told y'all I don't think he's really that good.
I forgot you.
I've been told you he kind of like.
I disagree.
He's a shot chucker.
Of course he is. He's a volume shooter.
He's like a below. He's like a washed version of J.R. Smith.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like J.R. Smith played defense. Like he was at least a good defender. Tim Hardaway Jr. is not even a good defender.
Tim Hardaway, he's a. How do I explain this?
Please don't lie to me.
He's a target version of Jordan Clarkson to me right now.
Jordan Clarkson?
Yes, Jordan
target version. That's even worse than Wash JR.
No, it's not.
Bruh, prime.
He's a volume shooter.
JR
who is streaky, but more often than not, he's probably going to be hitting.
JR
now, the issue is defensively, you're not going to get much out of him. Not because he's incapable, but because there's just not a whole lot of emphasis on that side of the ball from him. That's how I view it from him.
So, I don't see him playing. I feel like Jaden Hardy's going to take his minutes again. Josh Green is going to be taking his minutes again. Of course, you got D Live coming off the bench, and fourth guy. Hell, you might see Dante Exum.
Dante Exum will definitely.
Dante Exum might get a little bit more PT. He might not play a whole lot, but
he'll get like 15-ish.
Yeah.
Maybe 20. He might kiss 20.
He might
Kiss 20.
He might catch up a little bit like that.
But I like it. I definitely trust Dallas's bench a lot more.
I definitely have a little more faith.
PJ Washington has forced me to trust him. I wanted to like PJ Washington. PJ Washington gave me a reason to believe in him the way that I wanted to.
PJ, man, mark these words. PJ finna clamp Tatum. He's gonna put Tatum. He gonna have Tatum looking how Wiggins had Tatum, and it's gonna be a little bit of a PJ's defense and a whole lot of Tatum's mindset. Because I already see how it is. Tatum as a player, and again, it is also with his offense. He gets a lot of threes up, a lot of threes. But the thing with Tatum is he has the size and he has the athleticism to be a guy that can put a lot of pressure on the rim, but he just really doesn't.
Yeah, he's a finesse guy.
Yeah, he's a more finesse guy. And now the fact that he's playing a team with defenders such as, even with, you want to say the more spacing that they'll have, because again, you'll have, D Live and Daniel Gafford gonna have to go out and play more out on the wings or in the corners. I feel like even still, he's not gonna be. I feel like he's still gonna be just as hesitant trying to attack the basket. I feel like he is gonna settle for a lot more step back jumpers. And I feel good with PJ Washington guarding him and contesting him. And then of course, Derrick Jones Jr. He's gonna have to guard Jaylen Brown. I believe Jaylen Brown gonna hoop. I'm just gonna say it now. Jaylen Brown gonna hoop. He's gonna have a pretty good finals. I think he's gonna have a pretty good finals.
He's definitely gonna be better than what's his name? Jayson Tatum.
I think he might be better than. I think he might be slightly better than Tatum.
At this point, I might be prepared to say it.
Oh no, I'm not saying he is better than him.
No.
I'm
willing to say it because this is the thing, right? This is the thing, right? If no. Because remember, I dislike Brown more than I dislike Tatum.
That is it true? Is that really true?
I dislike both of them. I dislike both of them.
Is it really?
For two different reasons? Now the thing is, remember, my issue with Tatum is the fact that he never previous to like maybe 2 years ago, he was getting no hate whatsoever.
Yeah.
He started out, he's only 19. Oh my goodness, he's so tough. And then they sat there and rolled that train out until it died. And then, he was the Kobe Glazer, rest in peace his soul, but he was the Kobe Glazer, and it didn't work then, right? And each time he always catches an excuse, and I'm tired of it. He has consistently had the best team in the East, except for obviously when LeBron was there, because LeBron made everybody else look bad. But he's consistently had the best team in the East. When are you going to take them over the top? When are you going to be that guy? Everybody was sitting there glazing Jaylen Brown, saying, "Oh, he didn't deserve." Like, why did he end up getting the conference finals MVP? To me, it was him. The reason why they did it handedly, they were going to win regardless, right? Yeah. No Tyrese Halliburton. The Pacers.
It was just really because Tatum's shooting splits weren't that great,
and he didn't.
His numbers look good though. His numbers really did look good.
Yeah, but it just wasn't enough. And if you look back previous to that, the person that was standing on business every single playoff game was Jaylen Brown. It was not JT. Yeah. JT got cold. He was cold those first 3 games of the first round. And everybody's like, "Oh, he's a no-show." Right. And then he finally turned it up. But by that time, hey, the narratives already started rolling. So to me, as much as I don't think Jaylen Brown's $300 million contract was worth it,
it is worth it.
If they beat Dallas and he plays the same way he's been playing the first 3 rounds in this finals, it was worth it. It will be justified, and I'll shut up.
So if they lose, but he plays extraordinary, is it still worth it? I still think it's worth it because you like I said,
define extraordinary.
Like he goes out and averages.
He makes Luka shoot 42% from the field and 36% from 3, and then he himself gives you 25 to 28. If he gives 28, 28, 6 and 4 on good shooting, 47, 46% from the field.
1.4 steals a game. I ain't even going 1.5.
If he does that, if he plays extravagant to where I can't find any blame, because you know how much I love defense. Yeah. So that's what my first thing is. You could be okay on offense, but if you can lock up Luka, you can give Kyrie a hard time, we can win a game. Yeah. So if he can give them a hard time and he can give you 28 on good efficiency, then absolutely. Even if they lose, because then guess what? I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna put on my little mask. I'm gonna be a Jayson Tatum hater. The greatest one of all time. Your 2A gave you the greatest opportunity to get you a win, and you couldn't get the job done. Yeah. What kind of 1A are you? You're not worth no $300 million. He did deserve that contract. I was wrong. I was wrong.
Well,
That's what's gonna happen.
They'll be ready because Dallas is gonna win this series.
Yeah, I expect them to.
I
I'm finally on your side of the fence now.
Yeah.
You know,
It took a
people
minute,
lost.
but
Yeah.
hey, look, man, Dallas in 6. Dallas in 6.
You know, Luka is in my book now a top 3 player in the league, not top 5. He's top 3.
Thank you.
Right. I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. I am impressed with his game, and it's just very interesting that the LeBron disciple beat the Kobe and the MJ disciples. I just find it to be interesting, you know, just from a play style standpoint. That's it. And if he wins the finals way, I think he's gonna win the finals.
Oh man, I think they're winning the finals.
No, the way I think they're gonna win the finals.
Oh man,
it's not 7 games. You think it's 7?
I think it's 6.
I'll give it 6. I'll be nice. I was gonna say gentleman's sweep. I'm gonna give it 6.
Gentleman's sweep. See, I can see a gentleman's sweep.
Game
I
one
can
will
see a
tell us.
gentleman's sweep.
Game 1 will tell us.
And then that's the thing, because game 1 usually is their game where they just kind of like Jason Kidd is experimenting. You can tell he's experimenting because he plays like 11 guys in game 1. So if they can win game 1 in Boston, then it's probably gonna be a gentleman's.
Yeah.
And again, there's just something about Luka that he really comes into your house. He puts his feet up, messes up your carpet, messes your rug up.
One thing that will matter. I need to see what. Obviously, the role players are gonna have to play their part. PJ Washington got to be the same person, right? I trust that he will, though. He's bought me in. I'm sold now. I'm sold on the product. Yeah. I need to see where Kyrie is psychologically. That might be one thing. Kyrie, because will he get too into it and then starts missing or making bad reads? Because that could switch it a little bit. Yeah, I don't think he will. Kyrie is my guy.
He plays a part.
I don't want to buy it. And looking from all three playoff rounds up to this point, he's been asked to do 3 different things, play the offense 3 different ways, and each time he's done it to the best of his ability from all 3 levels. Whether it be from a float game standpoint, particularly with the way he saw it when drop coverage was presented, when he was going into pick and roll situations against the Timberwolves, or round 1, who did they have?
Round 1, they had Clippers.
Thank you. In the Clippers series, there was a situation where he had to deal with Zubac, who's a traditional drop big. So those midi pull-ups, that was his bag. He was hitting those. Second round, that didn't really fall, but he was also getting down to the cup a lot better because they were trying to show a hard hedge. So he's been consistently adapting. I don't think he's going to give too much noise. He's not going to focus on that noise in my head because people have been crucifying him and saying, oh, he needs to just retire from basketball. Oh, he doesn't want to get the vaccine, like all these different narratives. Oh, he's a flat earther. Who cares? Yeah. He's the most skilled basketball player the game has ever seen, bar 0. And LeBron's my guy. LeBron's my GOAT. But even LeBron said, what? The other day he said, he has the greatest skill set of all time. And it sucks. I wish I could have. I wish I could play with him right now. I wish I could play with him again. Right now. Hey, he didn't say again. Hey, he said right now.
Rob Pelinka said, clear cap space for Kyrie. Nah, bro, we're good on him. We're good on him. He ain't gonna help us better.
It's crazy.
They kept that whack ass nigga D'Lo.
Yeah, D'Lo was. And the thing was, D'Lo wasn't even bad in the regular season. He was pretty solid.
He saved himself for getting traded.
Exactly. And then tears and everything. And then the playoffs came around.
He said Denver. Yeah, them niggas. Yeah, you know.
Oh, you thought you were better than Murray? Silly goose. You don't got that.
You're not him, bro.
Nah, but you know, it happened. So in 6, maybe gentleman's sweep, depending on game 1.
Depends on game 1.
Yeah. Fair. Let's read through a couple of these and we can close us out. Let's see. Jackson said, I think the Celtics are winning just because they have so many options. Luka is unstoppable when you have Derek White, Jayson Tatum, and Jaylen Brown and KP is honestly unstoppable. Now, the situation is they have to hit their jumpers, right? If you can force Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum to shoot contested or not even contested step back threes, their percentages this season have, I'm not going to say abhorrent. They haven't been terrible, but they've definitely not been where you would hope them to be. So if you can make those two live outside the 3-point line.
I also feel like a lot of things they're going to do is they're going to be trying to make Jaylen Brown into a playmaker this series. Kind of the same thing they did with Anthony Edwards in a way. It's not going to be as crazy because, again, obviously he's not their one, but there's going to be situations like that. And then again, they're going to also be just trying to make Boston play ISO ball. Yeah. Because once again, they don't hit threes. Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown revert into that. All right, it's my turn, your turn. It reverts into that. So, and I feel like Jason Kidd has been, He's done a hell of a coaching job. And again, it kind of discredit, and this is gonna sound like it's a discredit to Boston, but I don't feel like they've really went up against.
They haven't been tested.
They haven't been tested, and this is not saying that Miami doesn't have a great coach because they haven't.
Exactly.
Eric Spoelstra
is never
going to
be
best.
It's never going to be.
Eric Spoelstra is one of the greatest head coaches, but Eric Spoelstra didn't have a full healthy team.
Exactly.
So
nobody did.
when you compare that to what Jason Kidd had to go through, he went against Tyronn Lue with the Clippers. He didn't have a fully healthy team, but they were still able to get 2 games off. One of the best head coaches in the league. Then your next series, you played OKC with the reigning coach of the year and Mark. I can't even say his last name.
Yeah.
Again, great head coaching, a lot of adjustments being made, and then finally you close out against Chris Finch. Not Chris Finch.
Yes.
Is it Chris Finch?
Yeah, it's Chris Finch.
Dang, I thought it was Taylor. No, that's OKC. No, not OKC. That's Memphis Taylor Jenkins. Yeah. But Chris Finch, who is also pretty good coach as well. Again, fully healthy team, and you're seeing how Jason Kidd has been able to scheme, make changes, and just being overall just having a great game plan for each of these games. I feel like Joe Mazzulla isn't ready for that coach battle just yet. I feel like he personally hasn't been pushed this series as well as his team has.
I'll take it even a step further, because if we go IQ for IQ, we go brain for brain. Nobody on the Celtics has the IQ that Luka has at the guard position. If you want to sit there and say, okay, Al Horford has the experience, Al Horford isn't a playmaker. He's not the decision maker of the offense. He can help scheme little things here and there, but he can't. It's not a battle between Al Horford and Luka Dončić. It's between Jayson Tatum or Jaylen Brown and Luka Dončić. And Jrue Holiday, to his credit, is going to be very good defensively, but he's not the frame isn't going to match up. He's not. He's built strong, but he's also not tall enough. Yeah. So there's not any situation. So it forces one of your 1A or your 1B/2A, depending on how you look at Mr. 300 million. It comes down to one of those two has to be almost, if not equal to, the intelligence of Luka or Kyrie. And I don't think either of them are. When it comes down to it, and I need a bucket, or I need a play to be run correctly, and I need somebody to understand the coverages. I need somebody on defense even, because both guards have stepped up defensively. I don't trust Jayson Tatum or Jaylen Brown to be better than Kyrie or Luka. And I think that's what's going to come down to.
Same thing.
As well as if they do end up blitzing Luka or Kyrie, and they do swing it to the high post to Lively. Lively was turned into a little bit of a control tower last series, and it worked out pretty well.
And he's actually a pretty good playmaker.
Yes,
he's a good playmaker out of the high post.
He makes simple reads. I love it.
Good hands.
It's not going to be that easy for them, especially if Al Horford's on the floor that time. His recovery to Lively, it's not going to work. Lively, if he's on the corner man and they kept him low and he slides over, you think Lively's not putting him on a poster?
Yeah. Yes.
You think Porzingis isn't going to put it on a poster?
Like I said, I think Minnesota. They've seen the best defense in Minnesota.
Yeah,
Minnesota.
They've seen a bunch of the best defense. They've seen
a bunch of the best defenses.
You see OKC, and they have bodies on top of bodies on top of bodies on top of bodies.
And that's why another thing that I feel like it's not going to bother Kyrie as much is because he already kind of ran into the same defensive scheme that Boston would kind of run, because OKC is a little bit kind of similar to them, because they kind of run guard. Oh, I mean, SGA is a guard.
They do go guard heavy.
Yeah. They go guard heavy, but wing heavy, and that's kind of what Boston kind of runs. So, and I personally feel like Derek White's a great defender. He is a great defender, but I don't see him really stopping Kyrie. I don't see him slowing down Kyrie completely. I would say Jrue Holiday would be the best bet, but Jrue Holiday has been slipping up a little bit on defense.
Yeah, and
him and Jaylen Brown are gonna be matched up with Luka for majority, and Tatum at some point too. Which, Tatum's gonna get horsed down there as well. But hey, it's all good though. It's all good.
It's gonna be
but I feel like Kyrie is just gonna go out there. He's gonna ball out. He's been getting better each playoff series. Each playoff series, he's gotten better. So I don't expect nothing less from him. He said
Jaylen Brown Finals MVP and Jayson Tatum will have a lot of slander from it. If they do win, I think it will be him.
He will get slandered.
Yeah,
he will definitely
absolutely. Those Jayson Kidd defensive plays are different. Absolutely.
Yes.
Jaylen Brown went to Harvard. Did Luka go there? No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
Nah, you're right. You're not right though.
Hey,
Hey, the accolades behind Jaylen Brown, like off the court.
Yeah, off the court.
As much as I want to be a hater on the court,
he's
off
a
the court,
he's that
off the
guy.
court, this dude's accolades are crazy.
He's
Getting
that
offered a
guy.
job at NASA and saying, "Bro, I'm cool.
Bro.
I'm cool.
He's
I'm
that
cool.
guy, bro. Like,
I'm
come
cool.
on now.
Call him 300 mils."
That's why Stephen A. be hating, bro.
Yeah.
He be hating, man. Ultimate
Yeah.
hating.
Now, Jayson Tatum, oh yeah, he can catch these A's, these L's on and off the court.
On and off the court.
Yes, always. Now he's a good father figure, though. I'll give that to
Yeah.
him. Him and Deuce, I like to see their little relationship. I love that. I love a positive role model.
Yeah, man.
Let's see. Different. Luke can just shoot anything and it goes in. He do be hit.
He hits tough shots. He's a tough shot taker, tough shot maker.
And when Kyrie came down to it, Kyrie
Yeah.
said, "Wave off the help, bro. I got you."
Yeah. And that's another
Bucket.
thing. It comes a tough shot, hitting tough shots. If
Yeah.
you could get into an ugly
I'm-
game where it's
yeah.
coming down from tough shots,
Yeah, clutch game. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's where
Boston
it
does
gets a
not.
little-
Boston does not want to be in a game with Dallas up 6, down 6, inside of 6 points. You get down there single digits.
Yeah.
Last 2 minutes of the game,
and they're gonna be
It's getting ugly.
that because
you will be out executed.
they will.
You're not cut for
They're
it.
gonna be in that situation.
You
'cause
better
again.
pray Drew Holiday gives you some. He turns back the hands.
Mhm.
You better pray Al Horford
Yeah.
provides bounce.
Right.
His knees get a little bit more cushion.
I mean, hey, look at Indiana.
Yeah.
Look at Indiana. They without Tyrese Halliburton
Yep. Still pushed you.
still pushed you.
They almost had.
They
one.
had you sweating. Even Cleveland without
Mhm.
Darius Garland. Even though, like I said, I knew the series they were gonna win the series regardless. When Donovan Mitchell went out, I think they blew him out the first time he went out, right?
Yeah.
First game blew out, but then the next two were all close games and came down the stretch. So, hey, and again, and that was another Evan Mobley dominating in the paint.
Mhm.
But again,
Yeah.
you got two paint beasts down there, Derek Lively and
Gafford.
and Gafford. Yeah.
What Jackson said, I will not be surprised if Dallas wins. They surprised me with Minnesota. Yeah. They surprised me with everything they faced. I thought they weren't even going to make the playoffs. And that's a fair, I would agree
That's
with you
fair. Yeah.
until the trade deadline happened. And I love the trade from PJ Washington. When Miles Bridges turned down going out there, I was like, that's crazy.
Fuck Miles
'Cause that's-
Bridges. Fuck Miles Bridges. Why? So he can beat on you? Beat your women?
27 days, 27 nights.
Man,
Mac
yeah,
11 Ks, 40 got a knife.
Bro.
That's all I got to say.
No, bro. Nobody
Miles Bridges is tough.
All right,
Miles
bro,
Bridges is tough.
I'm
We're
about
not
to-
going to act like Miles Bridges is trash.
I'm
Off the court
trash?
antics aside.
Trash?
Off the court antics aside.
No,
right?
no. I don't think he's trash, but I wouldn't have wanted him. Like his
He was an
play
upgrade.
style, like
If PJ Washington wasn't on the table from the Charlotte Hornets, I think he's the next best option for you.
nah, they would have someone better. They did have someone better.
Who?
But that nigga said no because he said, "Oh, they ain't about to make you nowhere."
Who?
Kuzma.
Man, nobody.
Kuzma's better.
There's no way you think Kuzma's better than Miles Bridges.
Kuzma's better than Miles Bridges. Kuzma's better than Miles Bridges. Kuzma's better than Miles Bridges.
What do we trust Kuzma to do besides play
Play
on a
defense.
fashion show?
Play defense.
There's no way.
He's
you can say that.
actually a good
There's no
defender.
way you can
He
say
was
that.
actually a good defender. Like, let's not he's not good on the win.
How long ago?
Oh, when he was on the Lakers, he was a good.
Okay.
He was on
Okay.
the,
Yeah. Okay.
He was
yeah.
good
Then,
defender
yeah.
on the Lakers. He actually, was going
It
crazy.
has been his team
at
with the
Wizards.
Washington Wizards.
Oh yeah, but
And
that
he's
I
been.
don't.
Eh.
Yeah, he's been
He
terrible.
had.
on
Remember,
defense.
he had Porzingis. He was. Eh.
Oh yeah, I knew he was gonna be terrible defender on Wizards. It's Washington. It's like
That-
with PJ.
yeah,
I
hey,
didn't,
but if you
I
wanna-
did not see PJ being this good of a defender
I did.
coming to Dallas.
I did.
I
But the
thought
thing-
PJ was a solid player on the Hornets. I was like, okay, hey, he's a good offensive punch.
Yeah.
He's gonna be helpful. I
He
didn't
had the
expect him
ability
to be the
a great
defender.
defender. The issue is, as it is with most Hornets players, right?
And with Wizards too, because who
Well-
wants to be a wizard?
Facts.
Yeah.
But another thing that comes down to who the head of the snake is.
Mm.
Beyond coaching, because with the Hornets, we had Steve Clifford. Steve Clifford is a defensive-minded head coach.
Mm.
You did not have defensive pieces. You had people that would be willing to play defense, but when your star player is LaMelo Ball,
here we
who gets
go.
paid
Here you go,
M's
LaMelo
and can
Ball.
sell out of bench down 40,
Bro, they weren't playing for anything. They weren't
down 40,
And
that
another thing,
you're not taking it serious.
They're
When he's
not.
on the court, how tall is he?
6'7",
Has he gained weight?
probably. I would assume
Ever
he's
so
probably
slightly.
getting- I probably
Ever so slightly.
he's probably getting some weight though.
As much of a savant as he is on offense, defensively, what's going on? He's not even slightly below average. He's abhorrently below average. He was Luka territory when Luka was giving up freaking 60 and 70%, giving up 75% true shooting in the regular season.
But Luka was getting buckets.
Like, exactly.
Luka
and that's the difference. Luka's efficient on offense, right?
He was killing him.
So you go shoot 30, you go shoot 10 of your shot attempts are going to come from 3. You're going to shoot a medium percentage from there.
Hey.
And they're going to be bad as soon as you enter the arc, and you're only going to be able to play 33, 22, 55, and I think 1 year he played 72 games.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm getting out of you. And every time you're on the bench, you're just kikiing and laughing. Yeah. You're not taking your coach serious. You're not taking the game serious. You don't care, and that's fine, right? But that's why I love me some B Mill.
Yeah,
B Mill, like he hate losing.
He hate losing.
I love a sore loser. You show me somebody that's not a sore loser. I'll show you a fucking loser.
He's a dog. But I also want to go back to that being kind of coaching and just the coaching.
How do you convince somebody like LaMelo Ball to care?
How do you get someone to care?
Yeah,
you break them.
How do you break?
You embarrass them.
How?
You embarrass them.
How?
Bench his ass. Like legit, like bench his ass. Like I said, it has another thing to do with the front office and stuff like that. Because again, me saying, "Oh, you bench him, you embarrass him, you do that," but at the same time, the front office like, "Bro, that's our star. Like he's our guy. Like,
yeah,
you don't do that." I think the front office is going, "Oh yeah, we got LaMelo. He's our talent. We don't get talent." So it's kind of hard to make an example out of the best player when he can get a pass because it's like the front office doesn't want to do anything for it. So that's why I say it's front office and coaching, because if you have the right coach, if he had a coach like Ime Udoka, like who gets in players' asses, who got in Tatum and Jaylen Brown and has gotten in shooter Green, Jalen Green has been getting into them like, yo, this is why you're not playing. Yo, this is why you're not doing good. This is blah, blah. Like if he had a guy like that around, I don't feel like he'd be doing the bullshit he'd be doing.
I think he would, because he has been the most televised person. We've seen the most tape of LaMelo Ball beyond any other player. And I genuinely don't believe there's any other starter or sixth man in the league that grew up or had the path to the NBA with the personality of him. He's always been a jokester. He's never been about like to the point. He's always been ahead.
Dwight.
No.
Dwight Howard's a jokester.
Now he is.
He always been a
jokester. Early Dwight though. Dwight was never. He wasn't a clown back then. He didn't get that big being no clown. Nah, he was dedicated. He did know how to crack some jokes. He was also.
Bro, you seen him at Team USA, the All-Star game, and he was knocking on everybody's door, running. That nigga always been a clown.
But that's funny though. That's funny. Yeah, though. There was never a world where you sit there, you watch Dwight Howard, especially Orlando Magic Dwight Howard, and he was having fun in mediocrity. That wasn't something that was him.
Yeah, no, he's a dog.
And I can't name any other star in the league that has that aura about them besides a Kyle Kuzma, Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole's showing me something.
He ain't a star. Jordan Poole was showing you how to miss.
No, he's terrible, but he doesn't enjoy being terrible, and that's something that I'm looking forward to seeing his production from this.
See, here's the thing. I don't think he does enjoy. I'm be real. This is me being an asshole. I don't think it's not that he doesn't. He's not enjoying it being terrible. I think he's just more upset that he's playing ass than anything. I think that's
for sure.
He's more upset than being ass. Because I'm gonna be real. If he was hooping and getting his numbers and they were still losing, I think he'd be fine. But I think he'd be.
I think if he's giving them 22, 23 points, shooting decent percentages, and they're losing by like 18 to 25 every night, like they were this year, I don't think he's happy. I don't think he's cheesing.
Well,
because he cares.
He did come from more.
Yes, he cares about his numbers, but he also knows what winning feels like.
He does know what winning.
In the Hornets, that man Terry Rozier went from the Celtics when they were good to the Hornets, went to the Timberwolves and said, "Yo, I forgot." Excuse me, not the Timberwolves. He went to the Heat and said, "Man, I forgot what it was like to win. Like they get mad when they lose one game." I said, You can't be serious.
Yeah.
I was like, I knew the culture was bad, and I know Steve Clifford. Steve Clifford's an older guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the ability. He doesn't have the youth to like really push things around. And when you had the front office that we had in MJ beforehand, they didn't really care like that.
Yeah.
And so you didn't have the foundation that you needed, and combine that with LaMelo Ball, who's literally the most goofy star in the league.
Yeah,
I'll call him a potential star. To me, he's not a star. You better disagree.
No, keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
To me, if you're barely available, you shoot mediocre splits,
Mhm.
but I always see what you could potentially be. You're a potential star.
He is a potential.
In a perfect scenario. In
He
La
has
La
all
Land.
the, he has all
He
the
has
gifts.
all the tools
He
to
has
do
all
it.
the tools, the
He
gifts.
just doesn't put it together.
Like I said,
And I think a lot of it's by choice.
He just needs better coaching and better people around him, better staff
He needs
around
to
him.
be better.
He needs,
better coaching.
no, for sure. He definitely
needs
needs to be
better.
He definitely needs to be better as well. But that's again just with the people you have around you. Like I said, the staff that's provided around him. Like I said, when you're just a bad dysfunctional organization, what do you expect? Like come on, what do you expect here? So
Yeah,
you know, hey man, like I said, if you had a guy like LaMelo would be, he'd be in his place. He know better because he would tell him straight up, bro, you ain't gonna be shit. You ain't gonna be you think all this glitz, you think you really him, but you're not. That's literally what changed the Boston season when they were what 50, they were like 50, they were like right at 50 or above 50, and then they had that real good talk after the All-Star break, and then I believe they won a crazy number.
watch
straight.
this. I'm talking all this trash, and I'm gonna keep doubling down. And the next season, LaMelo's gonna have the healthiest season of his career. He's gonna shoot like 42% from three.
Yeah.
He's gonna shoot like 46% from the field.
Yeah.
And he's going to play really well.
And they're still going to be a bottom team.
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yes.
Define bottom.
Bottom.
Define bottom. Are you saying 12?
Well, how many teams are in the comp? 15?
15.
15? They're probably like 12.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, I can see a couple. I can see
if B-Mill continues to make his improvements and the roster is healthy, because I will credit the Hornets this, especially in that middle stint of the season, they were so ridiculously unhealthy. Like they had to have started the largest number of starting lineups in the NBA over the course of this season, and not because there were so many guys getting traded. No, like the number of injuries was crazy during the season. So with that in mind, if they're healthy the entire time and LaMelo does play up the standard, this is the East. This isn't the West.
I know.
I could see them being 9th. I could see them being a playing team.
Hell no. Hell no.
Hey, let's see.
Let's see. Like, bro, they'll be better than Detroit.
Of course.
They'll be better than Detroit.
Of course.
They'll be better than
You think the Bulls? You think the Bulls will be better than the Hornets?
Did the Bulls
healthy Hornets?
Right now? Yeah, they'll be better than the Bulls.
Let me pull up the comments.
Oh, I can tell. I know what teams in my head I got right now that they're not going to be better than. I'm about to say 1 through 6. They're not going to be better than any team that's 1 through 6.
All right. So we said Pistons, right?
Yes.
The Wizards are definitely worse, right?
Yeah, the Wizards will be worse.
Okay. And we said the Bulls,
yeah.
Right? All right. The Raptors.
They won't be better than the Raptors.
You think the Raptors will put it together next year? Okay. The Nets. The Nets is crazy.
Currently right now.
Because all they have is Mikal Bridges and then Sir Streaks a lot.
It's Sir Streaks a lot. Oh my gosh.
I'm saying no.
I want to say no, but I just know coaching wise.
They have no pieces though. Especially at the trade deadline, they shipped out a couple people. Yeah. And it didn't even help the Suns wouldn't actually matter.
I guess I'll go. Okay. It's hard to go Hornets, but we'll say Hornets. We'll say Hornets. Yeah.
All right. So we have Pistons, Wizards, Nets, and you said Bulls.
And Bulls.
All right. So we're looking at you said no to the Raptors.
No,
because
Raptors.
You think the Raptors.
I believe the Raptors have a star.
Hawks. How do you feel about the Hawks?
They won't be better than the Hawks.
You think the Hawks will take a step forward?
Regardless, even if we're not saying no one's getting traded, they get the number 1 pick, they'll be better. Because even still, I mean, even now the pieces that they have, the guys, like offensively, they wouldn't even compare. Like offensively, it's like kind of one clears the other one because Trae Young can lead a number 1 offense. He has led
number 1 offense.
He has led like a top 5.
Oh,
offense. Like points per game, he's done. Yeah, he's done it
with the pieces around him right now.
Yep, that's how fucking good Trae Young actually is.
I'm gonna have to see that.
Yeah, you're gonna check that one out.
I'm gonna have to see.
So I still got Atlanta.
All right, so you have them at 11th. Me personally, I'll put them at 10th because I don't think they're better than the Heat or the Sixers by default. So that leaves. I think they're better than the Raptors. I don't trust the Raptors to right their ship next year.
Man, Scotty Barnes,
because of that.
All-Star.
Scotty was an All-Star last year to me.
He got All-Star last year.
He did?
Yep.
Who missed in the East? Somebody missed.
Someone got hurt and he became injury reserve.
That's what it was. Okay.
But he should have made it officially because he led his team in points, rebounds, and assists and blocks.
Yeah.
And steals.
Yeah. And he took a step forward in shooting.
And
at the beginning of the season, I said he needs to be a good shooter. Shot like 37, 38%.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then Emmanuel quickly down the stretch. Oh my gosh, he was getting to it. RJ Barrett was getting to it.
Yeah.
I feel like they just need to kind of just mesh and gel. And I feel like they have a 3 compared to
Fair.
Hornets got 2. I mean,
mad at that.
And then
maybe
and you can say maybe 3 if you talk about what's his name? He barely plays though. Their center, freak, Mark. It's Mark something. I can't remember his name right now. Dang. Came from Duke. Wow. How do I not know more?
Who's center?
Hornets.
Oh, Mark Williams.
Mark Williams, yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
I can't remember his last name. Dang.
Yeah.
Shows how much I'll be watching basketball.
Nah. But yeah. Any other thoughts?
Gotta get that second one, Kai. Gotta get that second one, bro.
Second ring it'll be time to have some conversations. To me, he's the top 5 point guard all time. I would argue
top 5 all time, man. Don't care what nobody says.
Yeah, it's not to me. I'm not willing to debate it because if you're the most skilled player of all time, it shows consistently when it matters most. Is there some narratives that goes against his legacy? Of course, but there's a
none
lot
of
of people,
basketball
right?
related.
There's only a couple guys like John Stockton. You can make that case because he played all the time. His stats are actually crazy, right? Curry, greatest shooter of all time. We get it. He's been the most heliocentric. If you want to go
Magic,
and then probably Isaiah Thomas, bad boy Pistons.
Isaiah Thomas, he's up there.
And I think it's Kyrie.
And then Kyrie.
People might say you might want to go Oscar Robertson. Me personally, I'm not going.
Nah, I ain't going Oscar.
Somebody said Gary Payton. I'm not going Gary Payton.
All
respect to Gary Payton.
Some say Russell Westbrook. Some say Chris Paul.
And I'm saying no.
I gotta say no.
Chris
Paul's a little closer. No, they don't have
Chris Paul's definitely closer.
Chris Paul's closer.
But
Westbrook's
tough.
Kind of close too.
Westbrook's tough.
No,
he's definitely tough, but he's just not Kyrie.
He's not Kyrie.
Right?
He's not Kyrie.
But yeah. Shout out Jackson, shout out Lee, shout out Chris. Who else popped in here? Slumdog, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all popping in.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else that watched, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications. You know, I might make this a mainstay. Let me know if you guys want us to continue to live stream the podcast episodes instead of pre-recording them. We can always do that. It's always interesting. But let us know what your predictions are going to be for the finals, whether you are on the Celtics side or if you're like us and you're riding with the Mavericks. With that said, thanks for tuning in this episode. As always, this has been another round of the playoff picture. It's your boy, Wraith Hoops. Beside me, I got that boy, Darion. And we'll catch you guys the next one. Peace.